Greetings, welcome back to my channel. Let's get into Sisters episode 6. Let me tell you, did Karen keep it 100? Woo, that letter. Yeah, it was pretty intense, very emotional. A hard pill to swallow. She really went in, and it wasn't even Zach's turn yet. And boy, he was twitching in his seat very hard to handle. Wait till we get to his letter. But yeah, wow. Let's get into it. Okay, so where we left off from last week, we have the lovely Eva Marcel playing Madam. I love Madam's character from All the Queen's Men. Put in the comments if you watch that, and to know that she is Fatima's cousin makes all the sense in the world. I love this. This was the highlight of the entire episode. Now they sit down and Madam is basically saying, how can I help you? So they're a little nervous. Fatima's really nervous. And so is Andi. Look at the look on her face. Andi's like a little girl. I'm telling you, business is one thing, but her personal life, she's so childlike. It was adorable. So she said, how can I help you? So Fatima couldn't get it out. Well, this is my cousin. And she was like, well, you already said that part, Fatima. She already knows that. But what you didn't tell her was how close we were. And Andi looking like, huh? And Fatima's like, I don't quite probably wanted her to know all that. So she was like, well, that was before you decided to go all legit and shit. And she's like, excuse me? So, Angela, she was like, yeah, last time we talked, you had me throw a nigga on top of a hood of a car. She was like, that was you? And Fatima's like, yeah, that was all you. So Miss Instigator Angela is like, all into it. Like, I can't wait to hear this. She was like, you want to tell her? She was like, oh, no, I heard this story before, and I just want to hear it again. I can't wait for you to tell her. So she was like, yeah, me and Fatima, I guess, used to work. And that's when she said before she became all legit. And then she said, well, you want to know what I do? I'm a gangster. And she's looking like, oh, okay. Like, oh my God, that explains Fatima. So she goes, oh, you trying to judge me? I know, you're not judging me here. She ain't trying to hear that. So Madam peeps everything. And she's like, no. She's like, well, tell me what it is you do. She said, well, I'm an attorney. She was like, oh, okay. Well, what kind of attorney? She said, a divorce attorney. She was like, I don't need that. I don't need that. Like, what am I going to do with that? I need a criminal attorney. You cannot serve me with no matrimonial nothing. You know what I'm saying? So she's like, well, no, I know a lot of criminal attorneys. So Madam like, okay, well, if you not that, then at least you have that connection to that. So she said, oh, well, I think I just met my new best friend. And like Angela and Fatima said, her favors are, going to come very expensive. So knowing she got her in her back pocket for what she's doing for Sabrina, yeah, she said, we can drink to that. So Andy's all excited. I'm like, Andy, you have no idea this rabbit hole you about to go in. So now here we have one of the most heart-wrenching, saddest uh, scenes in this episode. And that's now, everyone's waiting around for, why they're there. And, the mom. And I'm really liking Sherry Belafonte as Karen's mother now. I have missed the other lady, but I like how, just the rawness of her character and how she's really, very therapeutic in how she's handling her daughter. So I'm really starting to like her. So he's like, Zach is on his phone and he's like, what, you waiting for her to call? And he's like, no, I'm just waiting for this to be over with. So Cameron's looking like, don't let me waste your time. You can go. And he was like, okay, I'll go. And mom's like, no, sit down, Zach, deal with this. This is how y'all do, and she's like, no, this is how she does. So she says, I had Karen to write some letters and she don't want her to stress now. Here Zach is upset saying, just don't say nothing to me, bro. He was like, you can't stress her out And Karen basically saying, both of y'all stressing me out. And so, being the chivalrous man that Aaron is, but he definitely rubs Zach the wrong way. I don't know what it is with him that really upsets Zach for someone who says he's basically over Karen. But that's something we have to dive into with. I want to start with, so she's looking both ways, and I guess she said she got to leave Zach for last. So she gets into Aaron. And so she talks to Aaron about, how when he came into her life, he was really a good man, but it was almost like too good to be true. The way things started with the ex-wife, she assumed something was going on between the two of them before it even started, and Zach's looking like, whatever. But, she said, but, you never gave me, you never changed on me. And all that we went through, I waited for you to mess up, and you didn't. You was always consistent in my life, but unfortunately, you came at a bad time. I don't know. She's basically explaining to him, I don't know how to love you. I was so broken and hurt, from Zach. I don't know why she called him a fool, but that's how she felt. You didn't have to necessarily bring Zach down. This is not even his letter. This is about Aaron. But she met a fool, and he, he hurt her, and she really loves you, but she's not, in love with him. So, that made him feel uncomfortable. But she said she doesn't know if she'll ever be in love with a man like she loves Zach. And it was hard. It was a tough pill for Zach to swallow, knowing how much he hurt her, knowing how much just what she felt about him, still in love with him, but he's not necessarily there with her. So, not only was this hard for Karen, to go through with a man that you love, waiting for him to change, and everything that you ever wanted him to do, now he's given to someone else. It was painful. I felt her pain. Our sister here really, really played this part. Zach couldn't really take it. It was emotionally draining. It was taking a toll on him. But Mom said this is something that you got to hear. And as bad as it is, sometimes we got to suck stuff like this in. It was therapeutic for all three of them. So this was really a healing for them to really visually look at stuff. And she really told him how she don't know if she'll be able to get there. But she hoped one day that she basically can. I know she wants to, but it's the wanting of Zach. It's still wanting a man that puts you in a bad, toxic place, but you still have a yearning for them. That's that soul ties that I'm sure many of us have experienced. Someone that's not good for you, but you can't get them out of your soul. They're gnawing at you, even though you went through a rough time. And the mom is saying sometimes, it gets like that. Trying to, I guess, be this raw and vulnerable. That's how love gets. And, not knowing if she'll be able to love like this again. Aaron said he can understand that because that's something that he went through. But, finding her was something that brought him out of that. And I don't know what Karen has done than reject him and yearn for Zach that makes Aaron want her so bad. I don't know. I'm still perplexed on that, but he sees something in her that's really evidently soothing to his soul. But she's reading this heart-wrenching letter, and it's really tugging at Zach, and I think it's making him feel more bad than what it's supposed to be doing for Aaron. It's almost like that letter is for Zach, and she has another one for him. Even the whole concept. And did anybody else realize that? It's like she wanted Zach to hear this more, and I think pull on his heart more than she wanted Aaron to feel this letter, because to me, that's who hurt it the most from all this, was her and Zach. So when he said that, he understood what she went through, Mom was like, you do? And he said, yeah, because, he was in that dark place once. And, Karen brought him out of that. And Mom was just soothing. It's her level of bias and understanding and seeing all sides, something that she had healed from in the past, and now she's offering this to her daughter. It's hard, but we all have to face these demons. We all have to face ourselves, and we have to face what we've done to others as well as what others have done to us. So that was really something. So here we go with old Robin, and he hears the cleaning guy coming in. So his whole thing is, who is this? I wonder if this the guy Paris that he was told Andi was dealing with. So he was like, hey, and he was like, hi, how you doing? And he was like, are you Paris? And he probably like, yeah, like, how you know my name? I'm just janitorial services. And he was like, yeah. And then he asks him, do he know Andi? And he was like, Andi. And he said, yeah, Andi Barnes. He was like, oh, the attorney. Yeah, I know her. He was like, you ever went out with her? He was like, no. And he played it off real good. He was like, no, I don't know her. He was like, well, who are you? Somebody gave you a reason why to ask that? And he was like, no, I'm the owner of this company. And he was like, oh, I heard there was a takeover. That's congratulations. And so he's basically trying to say, well, I'm sure you would like to take Andi out, still pulling for stuff. And he was like, well, no, because she's out, that'd be nice, but I'm out of her league. And he was like, I'm just a janitor, she's an attorney. So I guess now he feeling some kind of way. Robin, that he accused her, made her feel like garbage, basically some cheap hoe around the office that has no taste, in men. You go from attorneys to janitors, thinking that he's so much better. And now he feeling some kind of way that wasn't necessarily the case. Even though it was, but now, Paris didn't admit to that. So I'm glad he played it off like that. So now here we go with our girl Dani. Now, all my young sisters out there, and you can call, yeah, I'm your older big sis or auntie or whatever you want to call, but Kathy's saying this because she cares. This scene right here is what not to do. Especially when you hurt with someone else and you can going through confusion and, sadness or whatever. Don't go out and drink. Don't go pick up a stranger that you just met at work. And this man blatantly said, I'm buying these drinks. You going to give me something. And she's like, don't you think you're going to get no hands because you drinking it? But then at the end of the day, that's exactly what you going to give him. You bring this strange man back to your home. He disrespecting you by saying exactly what he expects from you. You do not know him. And then we get mad, ladies, when we in these compromising positions and something happens to us. And we be like, well, he had no right to do X, Y, and Z. But don't put yourself in a position to bring any harm to you. And this is just not what to do. I was just totally disappointed with Dani in this scene. This guy is kind of sleazy to me. I don't know why she thought he was a nice guy, but this was totally a no-no. Now we get back to the apartment with our girl, and she's trying to see, how can I help? And she said, well, I'm not getting any hedgeway with trying to, I have a friend that's in jail, and I'm not getting any help. And she was like, who you talking about? Sabrina, whatever Sabrina's last name. And she was like, yeah. How did you know? She was like, honey, I don't come into any situation. That's right, where I don't know what's going on. So she had all the details. You ain't going to ambush me. So I'm like, that's right, madam. So, Fatima's looking a little uncomfortable. So she said, would she be able to help me? And she was like, oh, yeah, that ain't nothing but a thing. That's all you want is to see your friend. That's it. And she was like, yeah. So she gets up and handle her business. And they like, well, you think she going to be able to help? And they like, oh, yeah. She'll be able to help. She sure will. And she said, but it's going to cost you. And she was like, Angela instigating behind, like, it's going to come with a price. And she was like, well, oh, okay. And then Fatima's trying to tell her, that's family business. Like, don't get into the dynamics of what my cousin does. And she's like, okay. But I'm just going to let you know, that there's, it's going to be costly. And, whatever she gets you out of, just be ready for her. So Fatima really don't want her to get no further. I don't know why Angela's so messy. I don't even know why Angela's here in this meeting, but that's neither here nor there. So she's a little nervous on this whole situation with Sabrina and hoping that, she can get some type of resolution. And Angela is basically letting her know that, it'll be handled and, but just get ready. So she came back And Madam's like, okay, it's done. And she was like, okay, I don't mean to be in your business, but how was you able to do that? And she was like, because she likes to sleep. The judge likes to sleep, come to my club and sleep with one of my guys, and she don't like to pay. So I'm taking care of that. So, don't worry about it. I got it. So, she owes her, I guess, some favors. And she was like, oh, okay. So she gets a call from Robin, and Robin, she's trying to tell her, well, she basically she likes Andi. So I think she wants to help her, but at the same time, she knows that with favors like this is going to come a mutual understanding. So Angela is still over there, like, making comments in the back, and she was like, this one right here, was one of my main girls. And, before she became legit, I guess we used to do some things together. And Angela was like, And she was like, oh, okay. And so, yeah. So she's like, excusing herself in a minute because that call, Fatima's telling her she better answer it because Robin is still bugging her. So she excuses herself. And, yeah. So the dynamic of this situation with Zach is really, in the back of Fatima's mind. So Madam wanted to take this time to talk to, excuse me, I'm trying to get my thoughts together. Wanted to get, her mind together on what's going on with Zach. So, of course, Angela, putting her little 2 cents in about, what's going on with Zach, where is he? And then she lets her know that, he's at Karen's. And they was like, why you not over there? And then, because Madam thinks she should go. And she was like, no. I forgot what Angela, she thought she should go or not. But, she was like, I want to meet him. What's going on? And she's saying, that whole dynamic with him and Karen, and straightening that out, it's a little sticky situation. But Madam thinks that, she over there, and if she, causing all these problems for you, and you not over there to check her, you going to keep having these problems. She was like, I know. But she didn't think that she should go over there. And Madam here was trying to tell her, well, I think you do. So, yeah. So they get into that. And so, in the meantime, Andi's on the phone, and she finds out from Robin, like, what it is that you want. And Robin was like, basically want to apologize because he coming with his tail between his legs because he found out that she didn't sleep with Paris, even though she did, but he doesn't know that. And she was like, no, didn't you say keep this doesn't sound like a business call? So he was like, no, I want to talk to you or whatever. I want to see you. He was like, no, because like you said, last week, you got any business, contact my secretary if you want to see anything. You pushed her and talked to her like trash. So, she's giving you that medicine back. And deuces, I have nothing to say to you. So here we go in this scene with Calvin. And Calvin, you cannot stop a crook from getting into an apartment. You're going to continue to have this situation with Q. You can't fight. He has no respect for you. He was like, you can't, basically lock me out of this place. And Calvin's was like, how could you do this? How could you live with yourself? And so he's instigating to him. He's giving him some little sexual innuendos about, you don't need to fight it. Like, basically, won't you just give me some or whatever? And, he already knows the business between the fact that he can't fight, how he twirled in the bank and passed out because Maurice told him, everything about Calvin. So he's not really letting Calvin face him. So he was like, you just basically better just go ahead, up out of my face because ain't nothing you can do about me. And Calvin, you showing that you a straight up punk and can't handle this man. You cannot do anything for, it's really a situation now. If you had any sense, you should have recorded him saying, that he set Maurice and them up and be going to the police right now. Because the authorities are the only one that's going to be able to take care of the situation. Because you ever letting him know anybody that can get him out of there. And he's playing you. And every time he checks you, you leaves out. So man up or get the authorities involved and deal with this man. So now we back at the house. And, they having this conversation, about Zach and this situation. And, Madam is basically giving her opinion on how she should handle it. And, she has mixed feelings on it. But Andi comes back and basically, is about to excuse herself to let the ladies know, thank you so much for your help, but I'm going to excuse myself and I have to leave. Now, they joking afterwards that, she's going to go and sleep with this man. And she was like, oh, she most definitely is. So, Madam's checking her phone because, she got business out in these streets. And so they saying, what's the deal when it comes to she's a nice person or whatever, and she only, she's talking about Andi, and she thinks she's cool, but that's, all she knows right now. So she's referring to Zach now. She said, that's him. She said, yeah, that's him, on the phone, and he's checking in to tell her about the situation. It got a little emotional with Karen, so we took a little break, and I'm basically gonna wait a few minutes and see what's going on. Are you okay? And he was like, she said, wow, that seems a little intense. And he's saying, yeah, but I'm going to give her about 20 minutes or so. And then, I'm going to roll out. So, at that point, Madam and Angela is saying you're going to have to, deal with him in this situation. Now, the music is blasting because DEJA up there acting out. And this was my funniest scene of the night. She was like, she always, trying to start up stuff with Zach. She wants Zach to go over to her apartment to fix stuff. But it's okay, I got it under control. And Madam is like, you call that getting under control? No, you ain't got nothing handled. But we need to go over there and handle it. So the three of them walk over next door to check DEJA. She like, hey, what's up? About the music. And she said, yeah, you need to turn that down. So, DEJA at this point going to go big and bad. She like, you ladies, you little lawyers, you think you better than me. And she looking at her body like, y'all ain't got nothing on me. So you need to just get on out of my face because, I'm playing my music. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Now, she knows Zach not there because his car gone. So she going to talk all this mess. And even though you got your arm smashed at the locker, you still want to talk junk. You still, you got a lot of heart not to, have any type of fear of Fatima at all after that. So she gets a little tap on the shoulder. She ignores it. She finally turns around and was like, Madam. She's like, the one and only. And she's like, like, what is, she said, I heard there's a problem. Now, what was you saying? Go finish talking about what you were saying. So Fatima, you was talking about something, her man, the noise and all this. What's going on? She was like, oh, no. She was like, you know me? She was like, yeah, I know you. She was like, well, what is it that you know? What is it that you heard? And she was like, that you're not to be played with. She said, well, you heard that right. And she was like, oh, wait a minute. She said, one thing, she explained to her that one thing you do not play with is my money or my family. Okay? And she's like, this your family? She said, yeah, that's my blood. That's my cousin. And you over here, cutting up all kind of mess. And I don't want to hear, have to come over here and deal with this. And she's like, I'm so sorry. I was going through something. I didn't mean anything. She just got in the middle of, a problem, but you're not going to have that problem no more. You just, I guess, took the brunt of whatever I was going through. So she was like, okay. She was happy to hear that she changed her little tone. But she was like, look, if I have to come over here again, it won't be me, but I'll be sending somebody. And it's not going to be a nice sight. So she came over there and apologized to Fatima and Angela. They so beautiful and all this. And I'm sorry. And, explaining what she had got into, made up some story about what she was getting into. And she didn't mean anything. And you don't have to worry, about me with anything anymore. She said, because if I hear anything about you did anything to her man or you coming on to him or whatever she said like that, I'm going to come over here and deal with this. And I'm not coming, but I'm sending somebody. So she was like, okay, I got it. I understand. She was like, I'm glad. And so she basically just shooed her along. And I don't think they would ever have to worry about DEJA with Zach or any problems with Fatima ever again, because she knows in these streets, Madam is not one to be played with. Now, here we go, our girl living this dangerous life. Coming here, looking all seductive, glistening and everything, boob, tatas all out for this man. You bringing him to your house because you know what you want. You telling him about this hot girl summer that you want to live, and you just want to go and live this risky life, all out of pain for Preston. And so this man is drinking. Now, she finds out real quick a brother ain't working with much of nothing. She trying to do her little feel, her little fondle, and he really is not doing anything. He's about to pop, and all she did was rub up against him. And she realized, I don't even want to do this no more. I'm wasting my time. What am I doing? So she jumps on the phone. Andi calls her to tell her she got some help from Fatima's cousin, and she going to see Sabrina. So she was like, happy about that. But she was like, you got somebody there. Like, what's going on? And she can hear that someone's there, and she's basically saying, I got to go deal with this guy. Now, she listens to Preston's message, and she was like, oh, wow. Like, what's up with Preston and Robin? So let me give him a call. So she was like, Preston? And he said, yeah. So he explained the situation, he tried to make a little small talk. She tried to be cordial, but she wanted to hear all that. Get to the nuts and bolts. So he's telling her how this guy Robin was asking about you, but I didn't tell him anything. He wanted to know if I known you, if we went out. I don't know what that's about. And she said, yeah, I really don't know what that's about too. So her wheels are spinning because, he already brought up the situation with Preston, how you dealing. I thought you was a certain caliber of woman. You dealt with a certain caliber of man. Now you deal with janitors. So she knows he's around asking questions now. And he was like, yeah, I just thought that you should know. So she said, thank you. He said, I don't know what that's about. And she said, I don't either. So now this is really bothering her because now he's actually going after the people and questioning those he, was suspecting her to be with. So now we are back at the house with Karen, and she broke down because this was a really hard thing to do. I get it, Karen. It was hard. Mom trying to soothe her and asking her if she ready to handle this. And it's good to get this out. It's really good to get this out. So now Zach is like, it's my turn. Oh, boy. It already felt like it was his turn. I felt for Zach. I'm like, oh, Zach, yeah, you really got it coming now. So there's a knock at the door. And she was like, everybody, you expecting somebody? And she was like, no. So she goes to the door. Lo and behold, she said, yes. My girl was like, hello, I'm looking for Zach. I'm Fatima. I said, all right, madam said, you gonna get your ass over there and deal with your man and this woman. And I guess she said, cuz, you right. Let me head on over there. What is going to go down in this session next week? Yeah, Fatima is going to get an earful. Zach is going to get an earful. It's going to get steamy. What's the situation with Robin? Is Andi going to forgive him? She going to find out that Preston is behind it, or she going to think that it's Gary? Are they going to find out this plan that they are concocting? Well, we shall soon see. I cannot wait. It's going to be a crazy one. And Dani, get that man up out of your house and don't ever do that foolishness again. Talk to Preston and handle your business. I can't wait to episode 7. Until next time, family, like, subscribe, share with your friends, and let's get in here and have a chat on what's going on with our sisters. Peace.